Welcome, Aquarius, your in-depth weekly astrology overview and zodiac forecast for week commencing the 25th of May for the ascendant, the sun, or the moon. Going to share with you the big themes of the week ahead, first of all. Then on screen, your event chart on Monday. Always important as a backdrop. I'll then go through each of the key influences in detail. At the end of the forecast, you'll have a clearer understanding of what's upcoming around your energy, work, relationships, and finance. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundel. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so now to help it to continue to thrive. But please also click or tap the bell notification symbol. As we go into this week, the sun continues his journey through your sister air sign of Gemini, which is your fifth house. The fifth house is where we showcase our brilliance. Now, right at the end of the week, there's a full moon in the opposite house, the 11th house, which can be to do with our long-term plan, our higher purpose, and our friendships. But it is in a tense relationship with Mars in the fourth house of your home and emotions. It may be something to do with your personal circumstances, could come up this week in quite a potent way, not least because Mars does clash with Pluto in your sign exactly on Tuesday for the first time in 2 years. And that could create a scenario which is a bit push and pull. However, if you're really flowing with something you're finding exciting, maybe a person, then the glorious link between Pluto and the Sun on Tuesday can cheer you on. But relationships are complex, aren't they? And sometimes, even if everything is right in terms of attraction, the circumstances may make it difficult, or perhaps the financial situation, health or work issues. And Saturn, your traditional ruler, does conflict Venus the relator exactly on Friday, which could be a little bit of a pinch point, maybe a stab of reality. However, if you are aligning with someone or something that really fits your purpose, Saturn does forge a magical link with the Sun as this week draws to a close. So if you're on the right track, I don't think that Venus square Saturn is going to stop you. So on the screen now is your event chart, and there's the Sun in that bubbly Gemini, very close to your modern ruler Uranus. So if you are enjoying really showcasing the more progressive parts of your nature. It could be your interest in astrology is really glowing up at the moment. It may be someone you're finding very, very exciting to be around, who's fresh and different and has the confidence to be so. But also at the start of this week, the moon is coming into an opposition with the dreamy Neptune. That's going to happen on Monday. And late in the day into Tuesday in an opposition with Saturn. So for us all, I feel through Monday and Tuesday, there could be a little bit of a counterpoint to that bubbly energy. And also the sun is in a T-square with the nodal axis. So the fifth house can be about speculation and risk, as well as romance. So the second house of the North Node and the eighth of the South Node, they're squaring back to the Sun. So how will that be? Well, I think if you are thinking of doing something around someone you're drawn to or around using your money in a perhaps more enterprising way, do listen to your inner hunches because that sole purpose coming from the North Node will protect you. However, the South Node can be where we sort of retreat to when we're unsure. So that's kind of saying don't overanalyze a situation, just try to trust your instincts. But by Tuesday, we do have that link between the Sun and Pluto, which is a trine. So if you're really enjoying being with someone or whatever you're doing creatively, or even in your social situation, if it's seeing your world shift significantly, that's Pluto and the Sun at its best. Transformation that's powered up and enriching you. But if there is something in your world around your home or emotional situation which makes you resistant to change, tension can build up by Tuesday as Mars and Pluto forge an exact square for the first time in 2 years. It's a real heavy weather aspect. And it's intriguing that the Sun and Pluto are forging such an amazing influence the same day. And it just shows that astrology is not one influence, it can be a series of competing influences. And the job of the astrologer is to sort of weave it all together. But that's one that really does depend on your circumstances. So if you are finding a shift that's going on within your family or home or emotional life difficult to go with, it could see you really trying to resist it, but that can create more pressure and more tension, to be honest. But then as the week goes on, Venus is moving forwards in that sixth house, which is asking you to sort of enjoy being collaborative with people in practical ways, maybe especially at work, but then that pinch point square to Saturn. So you might find yourself just thinking your glass is half empty as we get to the end of the week, and something that's just been vaguely in the back of your mind could become more of a worry. But just know as the sun moves forwards, if you're doing something again which you're really enjoying and invested in, making sure that it's planned well suggests you can execute it brilliantly. But the full moon that occurs, the blue moon at the end of the week in the sign of Sagittarius, could mean that you're feeling a little bit beholden to certain people in your friendship circle. And this fifth house energy is asking you to stay on track with what's right for you. And you can't, we can't keep everyone in the loop if we're very busy. So I think the key to managing that particular full moon is if you can't go out and play and be with certain people, just text or message them to let them know, and that will be something that will help. But Mars is in a quincunx with the position of the moon, and maybe you're just going to feel, whether it is around your friendships or even around a romantic situation, it has to feel that the other person understands your deeper situation. As much as the more playful side of things may come more easily, if they're not quite getting some of your challenges, maybe around older parents, children, property stuff, could be just how much time you've got. And if you're feeling obliged, that's something you will want to push back on as the week draws to a close. I'm going to summarize those four areas of vitality: your job, your money, and relationships next, Aquarius. But just to say, I've reduced the price of the personal horoscopes. It's now three for the price of one. The one you pay for is the Life Roadmap Report, which helps us to understand the patterns that play out in our lives and get a more intimate understanding of those. And that helps us to work with those energies better future forwards. Free, your 12 months transit forecast, but also your draconic soul karmic analysis, which helps us to look at life, ourselves, and astrology in a very different way, and they can be very profound. Please see the link below for more. If you've yet to watch your Gemini season video, please see that on the screen. If you would like to understand that Mars-Pluto square, it is really powerful. I've done a video especially for that. Please check that out. If you'd like to work with me one-to-one, it would be an absolute pleasure. Please check my testimonials. I work with people every continent of the world. And if you've yet to take advantage of that free daily written horoscope fired to your device each morning, please do so now and get your early day celestial pit stop. I've been saying through this whole week of weekly videos that I feel that some people very interested in more serious astrology can poo-poo daily horoscope, but if they're written well and I hope mine are, I think they can be very insightful. And most of all, we don't need to just read them for the sun. We can read them for the ascendant, the moon, our sidereal sign, our colleagues, our friends, whatever. So please see below for more. So to summarize, you're in a part of the year when your more creative, personality led nature gets a chance to really shine. And if you're in a flow or working with people or seeing someone, where you're just having a lot of fun. It's bubbly. It's just really going at pace. There's nothing this week that's going to inhibit that, to be honest. If, however, you've got some challenges around your home, emotional, family life, they may have an impact on your emotional energy because of Mars being in that fourth house. Mars in Taurus in the fourth house can see things suddenly come up that have been shielded or not in sight. And particularly in that square with Pluto, there could be a bit of a power battle by someone who's not really understanding your exact circumstances. And Saturn in the third house is making you scrutinize and think about things more cautiously. But his link to Venus as the week goes on is quite testing. So if there is a bit of a weak relationship, it is going to be scrutinized. Will that be fatal? Not necessarily. It's not me ducking out of it. There's no infinite prediction for each of us is very unique. I think it could be tested. And then as the week draws to a close, if you're collaborating with someone where it's going well and you understand each other's beliefs and ideas, you won't feel that tension. But at the end of the week, I do feel that you could feel a bit pulled in different directions. We can't please all of the people all of the time. Uh, but professionally, if you're in a situation which you're enjoying, it's bubbly, creative, it's all go. If you're not, I think it is a time to think about changing that. That energy could be around home, family, and emotional issues that's a little more challenging. As far as your finances are concerned, the fifth house can be about speculation, where that cluster of Gemini energy is. And, it's just down to you. If you're someone who tends to use your resources a bit more thoughtfully, it may not work for you to do something that's more of a bet, if you like. But with Venus and Jupiter coming into a conjunction, the two planets of fortune around your work situation on the 9th of June, if you are applying for jobs now, you could get the outcome then. And as far as romance is concerned, I think what you need at the moment is pleasure. I think that it it's a short life, isn't it? And I think sometimes for Aquarius people, yes, there is that more futuristic side of our nature, but there's also that very sort of responsible side. And I think it's time this at this particular phase of the year that if you can go out and have some real fun, whether you're with someone full time or not, I think that could be just the tonic for you. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.